In the midst of every trouble, there are always glimmers of hope. Thanks for watching. Hi folks, welcome back to the show. My name is Dwight, as you know, and we are here with Jeff and Elin Henderson, and they're going to share their story from the Altadena, the Eaton fire, and we are looking for the glimmers of hope in our conversation. So thank you guys for being with us. The fire was 6 months ago. In fact, today. Six. Yeah. Yes.
No, today.
7 months ago.
That's right.
February, March,
Six.
April, May. 6 months ago now. Okay, we're at the beginning of January. Whatever. It's been exciting. It's been an exciting 6 months.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You know, I lived with my mother-in-law for 6 months, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was excited.
Yeah.
It was great. All right, so tell me a little bit about your story since that day. We know that January 7th was a windy day, and we know that's what we were expecting. Wind, and then there's always going to be a fire in the hills. We've talked about this. But it didn't happen just like that. It was a little bit more than just a windy day. Tell me what happened to you guys.
Okay. Well, it was forecasted wind. I don't like the wind because we have a lot of trees all around us right near there, so I always get nervous with the wind anyway. But it really wasn't, we heard about the fire, and there was going to be a fire, and we were told it was going to stay on the other side of lake, and we're on the, west side of lake. And so we really weren't that concerned. We did follow it and things of that sort. And so that night, actually, Ellen was making dinner that night, and Charlie was coming home, our son, from his job. He's a PA. And anyways, it was starting to get a little smoky and things of that sort. And we actually there was never any indication that we were going to be in danger the whole time. I think that we went, Charlie and I went to go up and see where the fire was about 1:30, I think about 1 or 1:30, I think. And then we went up, and it was all the way on the other side of Farnsworth, which is blocks and blocks.
Well, it's still in the hills.
It's still in the hills. So Farnsworth Park the hills are behind that. So anyway, so we came back down, and we said, okay, well, we'll just wait it out and see, because we hadn't gotten any evacuation notices or anything.
And this is, sorry to interrupt, this is 1:30 in the morning.
This was 1:30 in the morning.
Okay.
So we went up there just to check, because it was getting smoky, and we thought, well, we'll go up and see where it is, but we didn't see flames or anything. But then when we got up there, we did see flames up in the hills, but that was it. Anyways, so we, went ahead and went, came back, went to bed, and then Ellen started to, she says, boy, it's really getting smoky, right? And so we were kind of monitoring it or whatever. We still had no indication that it was going to be, that our house was going to be in danger. I mean, we're a mile or so, or more than that maybe, in Farnsworth, because you walk there every day. So we just thought, okay, it's just going to be smoky, and if we have to leave somewhere and go and wait it out, then we'll come back the next day and do that.
Now, for people who may be watching that are saying, those people they're idiots.
Yeah.
If there's a fire, you should go away.
Yeah.
This is not your first rodeo.
No.
We live through this every fall.
No.
Every year. It happens
Right.
the same thing over and over again.
Right.
Wind,
Right.
and then there's a fire in the hills because
Right.
there's smoke. Sometimes we have to leave because it's coming our way, but it never.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so we really were, it was starting to get smoky, and so we said, okay, well, let's just go down to Ellen's work. and
Yeah, actually,
things
we
like
were
that.
about to probably leave because it was so smoky. But then at I think it was 3:25 or something, our phones went off to evacuate because we kept checking. No evacuation over here. Past Lake on the west side. So anyway, but then the phones went off, and then we just kind of jumped and then saw how smoky it was, and we were out less than 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think, and again, I think one of the things, and I have a little glimmer here in a minute, but one of the things that was never really in our minds about so we didn't have things stacked by the door really that much, or things of that sort ready to go because we thought our house was in danger. We just didn't. For some reason though, and I believe it's divine intervention for me, for some reason there's 2 drawers that are able to be pulled out of our TV area that are really easy to just pull out and go in the car, and those are all of our family videos that we've had. And so, yeah, so I think that, and then I did take some stuff that was in our safe. Again, I don't know why. I don't even know why, because it was never a situation of, okay, we got to go. Our house may not make it. Let's take all the books and take everything, all the albums, all the important things out. I mean, we took our laptops, and I took stuff that was in the safe, like passports, and just threw it in a box. And for some reason, I took those 2, or Charlie and I took those two things. So, we had packed some clothes just for a day or so, and that was it. And we said, okay, we'll come back tomorrow, and if we need to stay, we'll get more stuff or something. That's pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I took my work stuff because I thought we might be out for a while. You just don't know with the block streets off. Never thought, not even 1% that our house would be involved.
Yeah.
Just because we're so far from the hills.
So what happened? What was the actual? So
at 3:30 we went out, and it was pretty smoky, but there were still no flames to be seen. There weren't any that I can remember any emergency vehicles going around where we were at all. We headed west and then went down Fair Oaks to get down to her work, which is on Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena, and then we pulled in, took stuff out of the car, and we went in. We took 2 cars. Charlie took his, and we took one, and then we put blankets out or whatever. We had sleeping bags, so we threw them out there and thought, okay, we'll go to sleep or get some rest. Then about 6:30, I think it was about 6:30 or 7:30, we kind of woke up and were doing that, and I think it was about.
Well, we didn't have any news or anything.
We had no news.
So
you didn't have television.
We didn't have a television there, so we didn't. It was getting really smoky down there, and so. And I don't know exactly the times. I mean, I could go back to my notes.
I think it was about 8:30 when we went.
8 or 8:30. We said, let's just go back up to the house and see and get some stuff if we need it or whatever, and see how it looks. So we're traveling up, and you want to take it, or do you want me to keep going?
Well, just the fact that still, I even read a text recently, someone that I said we were going up and checking things out or something. Had 0 thought that the fire had come down, and then we were driving up towards the mountains towards our house. We saw total destruction on houses below our house. Right. It was just shocking, completely shocking. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, it could be our house."
Right. Well, I didn't think that at that point, because there was we were going up, and it was like, okay, there's stuff there, but again, in my mind, I wasn't thinking our house was gone.
You're going back up Fair Oaks.
And we're going up Fair Oaks,
okay.
And we're going, all the way up, and then there's actually flames on either side of us. But again, there's no emergency vehicles. There's nobody stopping us, and there's nobody in the road. There's no fire. There's no police. There's nothing. We don't come across anyone, and we go up and we turn on Altadena and drive, which is where our house is. And I went past it.
You went past your house?
Because it wasn't there.
Yeah. I was just shocked. I couldn't get out of the car.
And Charlie said, "Dad, you missed it."
All right, is there a tissue in here?
No, I'm good.
You good?
So anyway, we got up there, and I have a it was just
Well, our lot was also,
crazy.
there were flames still. I mean,
Yeah,
it
there
was
was still-
complete ashes. It was all gone.
Everything was gone.
But there were still hot coals and like flames coming up from the ashes. And
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
just
still
telling
burning.
them to
Yeah.
get back in the car. We have to go. You know, I didn't know if something was going to blow up or
Well,
what.
the
You
gas
had
line
active
was still
flame,
going.
probably had active flame all over the place.
We had active flames everywhere.
Everywhere.
For people, again, for people
Everywhere.
who haven't been through it,
Yeah.
the only time I ever saw previous with the pictures that were coming out of like North Dakota or whatever, where the fire is on both sides of the road, you know, that's the only thing I've ever seen like it. And here we're in it, in the middle of Altadena.
Yeah. So we so we got out, and I didn't walk all the way back on the property, but we took pictures and video, and
I mean, I'm glad you
and
did
then-
that now, but I couldn't. I was just frozen.
and then we left. We were there for a little bit, but yeah, there were flames everywhere around us, and again, there was nobody stopping us, and that's what is so crazy. There wasn't anybody there. We were really the only ones, and there weren't other people driving either at that point. And maybe it's like 8:39. I can't remember exactly, but according to some of the reports, then is you look at we left at 3:30, and people are kind of what do you call it? I'm trying to say kind of saying that they think based on when we left and what our house looked like when we got there, it must have gone up in flames at about 4:30 or 5. So so that means it just rushed all the way down like 10 blocks within
Well, the
about an
wind
hour
was
and a half. But
70
from what
miles
I
an
am-
hour, 80
yeah.
or something.
100.
100.
Oh,
So
100,
overnight it was 100 mile per hour.
And it
Yeah.
was crazy. So I don't know exactly when, but they say, it probably caught some, most say like 5. I think 4:30 would be too early, but 5 or 6, it's totally gone. I mean, totally.
All right. I want
Nothing's
to
there.
reset again. And I don't know. I haven't thought about this in previous episodes.
Yeah.
Right? For the people who haven't been through this, now, I've been through it a few times. You've been through it plenty of times. It's 9 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. The sun is fully up.
Mhm.
Okay, and I know what Altadena Drive looks like when it's 8:30 the next morning in the midst of a fire.
Right.
You're in the midst of a gray cloud. You
Right.
can't see a full block.
No.
And the wind is still bustling around, and the fire adds its own weather system to it, and it's
Right.
hot and it's blowing around. You gotta tell me again, I'm sorry, this is fascinating to me. You drove past your house,
Right.
you turned around, you didn't even see it.
I didn't see it. It was
What
all
were you
gone.
thinking when you're walking up to the property? What is going through your mind?
I started crying.
Shock. Yeah. Well, you're
Yeah,
Said
I'm
on
very
the
emotional.
video
So
while
I
he's filming,
I started crying because it was just nothing was there. And that was our whole. I mean, we had spent 35 years there.
that was
you know,
kind of our
restoring it.
hobby. Yeah, it was our hobby since we moved in, and
So,
because it was an old house built in 1885,
so
and it was a mess when we bought it, and we spent years making it livable
Yeah.
for our family. And I don't know, all our hobbies were built around, the house and the
Yeah.
family. And we, did a lot of entertaining there, had weddings there for our daughters, had my parents' 90th birthdays, both of them, with extended family, and all the Christmas holidays with extended family. It was just, it was our thing.
it was the celebration house. It was the holiday house. It was the house that, at the weddings we had 150, 175 people. I don't know. And then with our extended family, it was always around 50. With everybody,
Right.
45, 50, whatever. I don't know exact numbers with all the kids that are coming out. So it was our hobby. We loved having people over. We the landscaping we spent a lot of time on, and that was our thing, and that's what our thing was going to be when we were going to grow old there. That was our dream. You know?
I think that's the hardest part. Is
And
it
that's
was a huge part of our future dream.
Yeah.
And we were really close to retirement.
So,
And we had all these plans, you know, of what we were going to do there with our family and grandchildren and things that we had saved, you know, to do.
Yeah.
A few days later, all right, the fire's gone. 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Mm-hmm.
The fire's gone. It's still hot. It's still smoking. In fact, I went up on probably the 9th or 10th to my house, which is over on the other side. If you think about the whole fire as being in a box,
Right.
and on the right-hand side is Altadena Drive. That's where my house is. That's where the fire started, right there.
Right.
On the left-hand side is Fair Oaks, which is the street you came in, and your place is sort of almost in the middle.
Right. Yeah. There's nothing around.
So we couldn't get up there because the National Guard and the sheriff are guarding all of the northbound streets,
Right.
and we couldn't go above New York and all that.
Right.
I talked my way past somebody, got to walk up, got to turn the power off to the, I had something to do. I know a few days later, you guys were able to get back up there and go through the rubble.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing? What was going on up there?
Well, I don't know. When we saw it the first time, that day that it was gone, it was like there was absolutely nothing. It's like I don't know if you'll show pictures, with this or not, but you can just, it's gone. There isn't anything. It was a house that was built in the 1800s. It was all wood. So it went up like a matchbox or whatever, and nothing was left. So nothing inside it had a chance, except for a few little ceramic things. Things
nothing was undamaged.
Nothing was undamaged. There wasn't anything undamaged, and so we went up there and we started surveying, things and all that, and realistically, you look and you say, well, yeah, we'll go through. You started thinking about, that wasn't, I guess that's what you do. I'd never been through it, so you sift or you do stuff, and then the Samaritan's Purse is an awesome organization. I was fortunate enough to hook up with them over on Lake Avenue, and just went in to ask a question about, hey, what are you guys doing here, and all that. And they said, hey, we'll send out teams to help you, and so they scheduled the time, and they came and helped. But we spent the next 2 or 3
nicest people ever.
Weeks, sifting from time to time. Our whole family had kind of a time where we said we were kind of have a time all together at the house, just us.
Literally sifting.
Yeah, and just went in spots. Went in and said, okay, here's Mom's room. This is where her jewelry was. Hey, let's see if we can find anything, and we never did. Here's where Uncle Bobby had we had a Purple Heart, and that's another glimmer. We actually found that, and we found his wings, as well at one time. So we knew where things were, but it was 2-story, and you don't know where things were going to fall, and the wind was going, and there are things that we thought we would find remnants of that never did. And Charlie was looking for his eagle medal, and we never found it. He was on the 2nd story and all that. But anyways, yeah, the Good Samaritan, or the Samaritan's Hope was amazing. They were amazing, and they actually, when they came, you want to tell them what they found?
Well, you're talking about the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, somebody said we were all digging all different places of the house, like places we had mentioned to them, and we were talking to one of the head people about, she was, praying for us and talking to us, and then all of a sudden someone yelled out, I found Jesus. And so they told this story later. They had dinner with us and other people at their place, and they told this story.
But it was from the nativity
because they told
scene.
Events of the day. Yes, and so I had this really special nativity scene that my grandpa had given me. He had gotten it in Italy. And we actually, that was the most we found, was the pieces to the nativity scene. It had a wood, of course, the outline of the the manger scene was gone, but all the they were painted pottery, and baby Jesus was there, and almost all the shepherds and kings. I think one angel was missing its head. We never found the head, but things like that.
Yeah.
But of course, it was all destroyed. It all discolored, but still we have that. That's kind of what it got to. We got kind of excited when we found something, even though it was all destroyed. But at least we found something.
And how interesting these little things that you set up every Christmas. And I've been in that room where the purple art medal was. I've been in that room. It's up on the wall. And, and you just kind of walk by all that stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff you kind of take for granted. But now, how precious those relics of our old life are.
Yeah, and the one thing that I had no idea, because one of my things I always did the pictures when the kids were little, and so I'd make like 2 big albums every year, and I had no idea how many albums I lost, because I spent so much time on those. But then all the the spines were metal, and I counted them. I think there were, a lot of them weren't metal, so I don't know how many of those there were, but I found 43 of the metal ones. So, and of course that was, we had the negatives in this other safe that we didn't take with us that was in the wall. And of course we have, that was before you have stuff on your phones. We have pictures from our phones for recent, but the ones way back.
Yeah, so
but we do have the videos.
What's the day by day like? It's been 7 months. I know you've lived in a couple of different places. We talk once in a while, but just what's the day by day like since then? What have you been doing? What have you been doing?
Well, there's still a lot of decisions to that. It seems like I think there's 2 words that constantly come up, and one is unsettled, because we really don't have a final plan yet as far as things. We do know we're going to rebuild. That's something we know we're going to do. Exactly what it's going to look like. There's so many things that they have to tell us what we can do or what we can't do, what it's going to cost. All those things that we really don't know now. But we're going to rebuild. We just don't know a lot of the answers to some of the questions that will enable us to know what we're going to rebuild. Part of us wants us to, initially I think we wanted to build exactly what we had. And I think in our own minds, whether we admit it or not, because we thought if we did that, then when we opened the cupboard, things would be there. So
it won't. We can't do that, obviously.
But we can't. So
we're not going to have the original windows and all that stuff. We're not going to.
I'm getting sidetracked, but
no, this is not sidetracked.
We just have to focus. Focus on what we had.
How are you? It's obvious. Okay, obvious to me. I've lived it, but not to your extent. But we had our trouble as well. It's a daily thing.
Yeah,
I know. Okay, I know it's a daily thing. You drive up to check on something at the house. You've been talking about trying to take care of the trees. So you drive up there and you see the whole neighborhood again. And it was many visits through town before my wife didn't cry every time.
Yeah.
Okay. On our side of town, you can kind of be in our little bubble, and there's not a lot of damage. I can walk out my front door, I really can't see anything. Okay. Your place, I know, is different.
Right.
Yeah. That's why you drove by, because you can stand in the middle of the road and you can see blocks that you never could see before it's devastation. Right. How do you cope with this obvious raw nerve? How do you cope with that on a day-by-day basis?
Well, our faith is really what brings us through, and that's the most important thing. We still don't, we don't have the answers why. We look at what are we. There's times that I try to think, okay, what are we? What can we learn from this? But I think that we just have to trust that God's going to bring us through, which He will. I mean, we know He will, and we know there's great things coming, and we know we're going to be able to get through this pain. But doesn't make. I mean, it's still not easy. It's tough, but we know. I mean, we both know that things are going to work out. It's just I have a very the pastor that married us, I'm very close to, and he lives in Seattle, but he reached out to us and reached out to me, and I talked to him a little bit, or right when it happened, I talked a lot, and one of the things he told me, two things that really helped me initially was that, realize, you're losing almost a person, because your house was a person to you because of everything that you did with the weddings and everything. It was a part of your family. And he said, the dream that you and Ellen had is not the dream that's going to happen now. So he goes, you've got to come up with a new dream. And that's where we're at, is trying to decide. And that's going to take a while. I mean, we need to come up with a new dream. And what's our next season of life going to look like? I don't know. We knew what it was going to look like, but the more we look at that, the longer it's going to take us to get to that next level or the next dream. So I think we give it the time that it deserves as far as the mourning or the grieving process or whatever. But we have to come up with a new dream, and we don't have one yet. I mean, I don't. I know that together we have to come up with one, and I'm not there.
So your event, your thing was the fire. For the rest of our lives, that's how we're gonna describe it. Remember the fire? It was the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else is learning a lesson not because they went through a fire, but because they went through whatever they went through. They went through divorce or death or all these different things. You have a unique opportunity to share with someone how, or give someone else some hope, or what insight would you give someone going through their own fire?
Well, I just feel like, our things were important to us, because they were good things. They weren't bad things, they were good things. It's made me value people more in our lives, and also, ultimately God, because God's enough. We're going to lose people in our life, and God, it's made me realize that God is enough, and God wins in the end. And it's, my dad, who's 97, he always used to say that things might not always work out for the best, but they always work out. But, maybe that's, but as far as for God, they do work out for the best. Maybe they don't work out the way we planned, but they do, work out for the best of how God wants them to work out. And so, our faith has gotten us through that. And we really believe that. And we don't, we had a pretty good life, but everybody has struggles. And this was, obviously one of our big struggles. And we know we'll get through it.
Yeah. We will. So we just got to keep praying.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. I think we share a similar faith, and we don't understand that the clockwork ticking that God can control.
Right.
We don't understand. We don't have to understand. But holding on, even when it's really tough.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. God bless you guys.
Thanks.
And we have hope for the future.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's a great big deal. I appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. So thank you all very much for being with us here to hear Jeff and Elin's story.
Please reach out to us. info@glimmersofhope.me